bills and moving away from streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and others for something better. Q Broadcast. For just $60 a month, you'll get access to every channel you could ever want, including HBO, Cinemax, and Stars. And the best part, there are no contracts, no hidden fees, and you're free to cancel anytime. With Q Broadcast, you can enjoy streaming live TV, movies, and top series on up to 5 devices at once. Whether you're at home or on the go, Q Broadcast makes sure your entertainment is always at your fingertips. Imagine being able to watch all your favorite channels from anywhere, anytime, without any restrictions. We're talking about thousands of movies, hundreds of TV series, and a huge library of live channels, all in one place. And don't forget video on demand and pay-per-view events. Those are included at no extra cost, so you'll never miss a big event again. Now, take a second and think about your current cable bill. You're probably paying anywhere between $100 and $300 every month, locked into long-term contracts and hit with surprise rate increases. With Q Broadcast, that's a thing of the past. It's just $60 a month. No contracts, no extra fees, no hidden costs, and no price hikes. Why juggle multiple subscriptions like Netflix, Hulu, and cable when Q Broadcast gives you everything you need in one convenient package? People everywhere are switching to Q Broadcast, saving money and getting more content than ever before. So, what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description and sign up for Q Broadcast today. Just $60 a month, no contracts, no hidden fees. It's time to take control of your entertainment and start streaming smarter.
We live in a world where men are told it's harmless. It's just entertainment. Let's stop lying to ourselves. Pornography destroys. It weakens your spirit. It dulls your drive. And it robs you of what real intimacy is supposed to be. Every click is a step away from the man you're supposed to be. We can't call ourselves leaders if we're slaves to a screen.
As someone that is prior service, I know all about discipline. And discipline isn't out there. It's within your mind. Porn rewires your brain, weakens your will, wrecks all of your relationships. It doesn't just stay on a screen. It invades your marriage, your confidence, and your actual purpose. As men, if we don't learn to discipline ourselves, we'll be ruled by our impulses. Now, it is time to stand up and take control before this silent war takes more than you're willing to lose.
Real men don't hide in the shadows of shame. We step up and we protect what's ours. We fight for our wives and kids, our own hearts. Twitter isn't just an app. It's a weapon. It's a tool used to break free and start living like the man that you're meant to be. The battle's here and it starts with you. You can stop living in shame and you can break free today.
Bow down to government tyranny. Gone are the days of freely leaving your home, working, and social interactions. In exchange for safety, we will trade liberty. At the anomic age, we understand. However, just in case you want to get off your knees and stop being a sniveling coward, check out the John Age Project at anomicage.com.
Meet Ann Morrissey, who is here with her daughter, Dareth. Dareth is 17 years old. Mrs. Morrissey, I don't have to tell you that most parents would be extremely depressed if their daughter came home one day looking like this. I assume that was your response. Shock, anger, depression? What was it?
I was extremely angry. I really went bananas.
Yeah, how old was she when this happened?
Possibly 13, 14 years old.
We're talking like it's a disease, and
Well,
yeah. How did she explain it to you, Mrs. Morrissey?
there was very poor communication until we went into counseling. And it almost broke up our family. But through counseling and Serena, I can understand it better.
What do you understand?
That she feels like she doesn't want to be like everyone else, and she wants to be her own person. And through the dress code and her lifestyle, she's expressing this. It doesn't conform with our rules, but we're learning to cope, and it's a very, very difficult thing. Extremely difficult.
Dareth, let's let you talk for yourself. You're from Long Beach, California.
I just can't handle being like everybody else because that's what everybody else wants, you know. Just because somebody else does something does not mean that I have to do it. You know, I have my own morals and ideals, and I go by them.
Are you drug-free, Dareth?
Yes, I am.
Is this a political statement then? Do you have some misgiving about the society that you see?
Yeah, there's a lot of problems, you know. A lot of the people are really aware of what's going on, you know, and I don't like it, you know. There's a lot of problems. I don't like the way society is based.
What bothers you? Give us some of the misgivings you have.
The rich, the poor, the people starving, the wars, you know. Why can't, you know, everybody just get along and just live their life?
Here at the Anomic Age, we know that these times of uncertainty are stressful. It is incumbent upon all of us to put our fears first and bow down.
Propagating truth in a world of lies. You are listening to the John H. Project.
Trust no one. Trust no one. Trust no one.
You found it. You're here. You're headlong down the runaway train that is the Anomic Age, and I am your host, John H. Happy to be back with you once again. I'm going to be taking you into the dark side of the AM this evening. Hailing proudly from the coastal plains of the Old North State, I will be your tour guide as we take a somewhat satirical journey down the path of murder, destruction, mayhem, and the extermination of human life on this planet. A forced march into obsolescence thrust upon us by a global satanic death cult of pedophiles. Check out anomicage.com if you've not already done so. PayPal.me/anomicage. Patreon.com/anomicage as well. That's some of the best ways you can help me out in this whole thing. We got the Cash App. We got the Buy Me a Cup of Coffee link. We got the Patreon link, free iPhone app, free Android app, and so much more. It's right there at anomicage.com. If you've not been there lately, you can check it out. Never plugged this, but we got a great news section down at the bottom. If you look under news, we got the veritable smorgasbord of news over here. So please check out the news section. Got to update that, it looks like. Anyway, there we go. That's the news section. Just didn't update it for you before I clicked on it. All kinds of news in the news section. Free iPhone app, free Android app, direct link to iTunes. Always say this, if you can't do anything more, you can definitely leave me some 5-star reviews, some kind comments, and so much more to break the algorithms if you can, if you shall, if you may. It's hard to do. Whew, so much to get into this evening, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls. Those of you who still identify as human. We're all the way up to 508 information breakdown segment. The title of tonight's episode, in case you're not already hip to it, is The Next Big Think. So I'm going to try to kind of cover the waterfront of news out there. There's a lot to get into. But more to the point, I really want to get into this next big think, because that's really what it is. I was going to entitle the show The Next Big Thing, but I did that a couple years ago, and I thought that didn't really do it justice. It didn't really scratch the surface as to what's actually going on. So we'll get into that point in just a moment, but we got to get into some of the obvious stuff, don't we? Goodness gracious sakes alive, we've still got Maduro in custody, I guess, after we invaded Venezuela for no particular reason. We got Maduro up there in Club Fed with Diddly Doo. Hope they're not sharing any sort of lotion, if you know what I'm saying. But they might very well be. What else we got going on? We got the Mexican military putting their troops near the border, because we're talking about taking out some of these cartels. Funny thing is, Mexico can act boastful, brash, and otherwise bombastic against us, but they can't seem to do that against their own cartels. Kind of ironic. And just as a checkmate, old DJT is, of course, sending all kinds of military hardware, artillery, and otherwise doodads. The real question is, are they actually going to have ammo in their weapons this time? Because they typically don't. That's why it's a big who the bleep cares. All this pomp, circumstance, bowing her chest out. We're going. Hey, the real question is, are they going to have actual functioning munitions? Is that going to actually be part of the gig, or is it just going to be a lot of cloak and dagger? Weird, huh? So what else we got going on? We got Russia. They have alerted their doomsday, I guess, beacon, if you will. So that's not a good sign now, is it, folks? And all this, apparently we're going to take over Greenland by hook or crook, or how did old DJT say? You know, the easy way or the hard way, that proverbial dad line. So France and a couple other European nations says we're going to do it the hard way, because we're going to bring some back to Greenland if Los Estados Unidos dares to try their own version of illegal immigration in a sovereign nation. How ironic, odd, and just plain stupid. But we're allegedly going to try to get or invade Greenland under the auspice that it's to protect ourselves from Russia? That's hysterical. That makes about as much sense as I don't know. I'm not even gonna say. It makes about as much sense as the U.S. taking over Alaska because they're afraid of Canada. And here's a big obvious one for those people who are availed themselves of maps. Russia doesn't have to go through Greenland to get to America. They can just go right from Alaska. I mean, the coastlines darn near touch Russia and Alaska. I mean, didn't everyone learn this in like 4th grade? I mean, this isn't even big science, is it? I guess so. So don't worry. We're going to war with Greenland, I guess, over their... Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's over Russia, right? Wink, wink. It's not really over their minerals or anything. That's crazy. Just like we took out Maduro and are going to put in some Jewish puppet, not because they have oil, but because of the drug trade. That's it, right? Never mind the fact that our own CIA is running most of the drugs, because anybody that slept through Iran-Contra could have figured that out, right, Oliver North? But anyway, that's the story that we're being told. Venezuela was for freedom, democracy, and drugs. And Greenland's for protection protection from the Russians. That's hysterical. If we were going to war with any country over drugs, I don't think it'd be China, but we don't have the balls nor the military to stop China, so that's not happening. So we're picking low-hanging fruit again. Oh, here's another hysterical one. I believe the leader of Iran is still alive. I think it was rumored that he was deceased about 24 hours ago. I haven't followed up on this. He's either alive or dead. It doesn't really matter, because what does matter is that we're going to swoop in and play global policeman again, and I guess try to take out Iran, or else put in another upper-tier puppeteer de los Estados Unidos in Iran. And don't worry, if Iran even sneezes in the direction of our greatest ally, I'm sure we're going to swoop in with more troops, more money, and more time wasted. What else we got going on? I can't recall if it was an F-6. I think it was an F-16. An American plane, although allegedly it wasn't being piloted by Americans, was shot down in Ukraine about 24 hours ago. And Russia immediately made it abundantly clear that if we continue this trajectory of landing planes and doing nefarious deeds in the western part of the Ukraine, that they'd all be shot down. Not just the Americans, but the Brits, the Americans, and anyone else that was flying in supplies or otherwise helping the Ukrainians. I don't know how many billions of dollars we've urinated away, or better yet, I should have said laundered through the Ukraine in the last few months alone. But of course, our notorious peace president, the one who said, my New Year's Eve wish, it's for peace, I tell you, peace. What a load of baloney. Because if it was really about peace, we'd be defunding Israel, defunding the Ukraine, and defunding every single other third world despot and otherwise bleephole that we're urinating away money to. But we didn't do that. We just went to war with Venezuela. We just kidnapped their president and brought him over here on some trumped up charges, pun intended, of holding or possessing a machine gun. How the bleep does that work exactly? So what are we going to roll up in Tanzania, and if we find their leader in possession of a firearm, we're going to bring him back to the United States and try him over here on our weapons charges? How exactly does that work? In what sort of bizarro world does that actually make any logical sense to anyone under the sun? It just doesn't make any sense at all. Well, maybe that's just the point. Maybe that's just the point indeed. What else we got in the grand arena of weapons of mass distraction? The next big think, because all this, cavalcade of cacophony of caca has just popped off in the last week or so, hasn't it? Last few days for most of it. But the biggest one, I suppose, at least in the eyes of the American morons, would have to be the death of Renee Good. And I can't believe there's people that are still buying this horse manure. I really can't. I mean, every few weeks, it's as if they pull out the psyop de jour every few weeks to keep the American people doing what? Back and forth, the next big thing. A game of mental pong gets thrown out on the table every few weeks, and the American people just fall for it. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's absurd and downright ignorant at this juncture. You had the, Trump got shot in the ear horse manure. As the CIA is doing, CIA. Freudian slip. While the security detail is letting people up there take pictures, not really doing anything to secure the president, and otherwise looking not so slimming in their uniforms as they cower behind barricades. But don't worry, the guy that they allege did this after they completely destroyed the crime scene, we haven't heard much of a peep out of that boob. But don't worry, because Trump had the most microscopic abrasion you could ever have, I suppose, in the ear. After all, we know that cartilage doesn't heal, but I guess if you're like President Trump, maybe you have superpowers like Charlie Kirk's neck. Of course. I mean, Charlie Kirk's neck can stop a 30-06 round. I guess, DJT's ear can stop, what was it, a 5.56 round, allegedly? I don't even know. So anyway, there was that volley of the pong ball. And so many just outlandish tales since then. But I would say the next big one would be the punctuated murder, allegedly, we don't even know, of Charlie Kirk. Don't even know. I don't know if I believe any of that. I sure as don't believe the ear incident. But Charlie Kirk allegedly neck of steel, stopping a 30-06 round. It did some sort of magic bullet routine, a la JFK, and ended up never to be seen again. Don't worry, there was no bullet recovered. There was also no autopsy performed. There was also no burial. There was also the usual suspect destruction of the crime scene. There was also the usual suspect Patsy pulled out just like a rabbit out of a hat. Once again, magicianship at its finest here in the United States. Which brings us up to old Renee Good. This thing stinks to high heavens, folks. I mean, anybody that's buying the official narrative of anything trotted out by our government needs to get their head examined. Oh, I forgot to throw this in. Before I get into Sarah Good, we got to talk about Dan Bongino, for heaven's sakes. We got to talk about Dan Bongino. Because this guy went from, I'm sure he was military, right? Military, Secret Service, podcast guy. Then he went to head of the FBI, and now he's going back to podcast guy. And he wants you to believe that everything he's been promulgating, I guess as long as he's been in this public sphere, has been on the up and up. That's what old Dan the Man Bongino wants you to believe. Or as I've been calling him all over the Twitter, Barney Bongino 5. I already muted the audio on this one because I don't want to get those clowns at YouTube, getting their panties in a wad or anything. So we've muted the audio. Don't worry, my YouTube channel gets no followers anyway because they've already taken it down once, and now they just sort of, as a courtesy, allow me to have one. And I think it's just me, the NSA, the CIA, and I guess probably Dan Bongino that gets to look at my content because nobody else does. So shadow banning still going on in case you thought that was over or something. Here's the funny remix that I put forward with old Dan the Man Bongino and a little Bernard P. Fife. So Bernard P. Fife was in the original mix of this track, but I've also added the great David Spade's work from Black Sheep, talking about Pile Driver, Rabbit Punch. Yeah, so we got DJ T, his choice for FBI, that would be Dan Bongino in El Centro. And then we got Bernard P. Fife on the left and David Spade on the right. All three of these guys are tough individuals, folks. I don't know why anybody thinks they're going to front and try to actually pretend like they're going to get in the fray with these hardcore tough guys, because it just ain't going to happen, man. I mean, Dan Bongino's already told you, black pill people, those people questioning MAGA, that ain't going to happen. Because Dan has already told you the deal. He's going after you black pill people. Oh, Dios mío. He's going after you people that challenge DJT. He's going after you people that are fake MAGA. That would be the actual original constituents of the American First Movement. And that's really what that would be. So that's going on. So if you follow me on the Twitter, you'll find those links there, I guess, until they take my channel down again. Who knows? Who the bleep really knows, folks? It's a wide world out there. Anyway, so we got Renee Good. And you got to follow along with me in the proverbial Masonic lore. Because everybody knows. Everybody knows. The dice are loaded. As that old song goes, everybody knows that the good guys lost. And I already forgot the... Let me see. There we go. Ordo Abachao. The Latin phrase, order out of chaos. Order out of chaos. I ain't even going to try the pronunciation in Latin again. Order out of chaos is exactly what we got going on with this whole thing. But it's the same thing that we have going on with everything, in case you missed it. Because every time there is an op being run on this sort of grand scale, the grand chessboard, if you will, you know it's always Masonic. It's always NWO. It's always Illuminati. Whatever stupid name you want to put on there. I'm just saying you're going to see the three fingerprints all over this thing. 33rd degree, you know that's me. Remember House of Pain? I didn't think they were involved, but maybe they are. Maybe they told you they were in the 90s and nobody paid attention. So let's see what we got going on here. We got Renee Good. Isn't it always odd how it's the most easy to roll off the tongue names? And this has got to be some deliberate inversion here, some neurolinguistic programming, because we've got the deceased individual, Renee Good. Yeah. Perfect, right? What else we got? This incident took place at East 33rd Street. East 33rd. East 33rd. In Minneapolis, Minnesota. Anybody playing along with that 33rd degree thing yet? Anybody playing along and picking this up, what I'm putting in? I don't have the image pulled up here, but during this incident, we got East 33rd there at the intersection. During the incident, you can fact check me on this because you can see this in the footage. There's clearly a lady standing in the background with a checkerboard, looks like a poncho on. The old black and white. You know, the duality, the good, the bad, as above, so below, order out of chaos, the binary opposition that's so prevalent through all the Masonic lore. Mm-hmm. And speaking of lore, this happened to be right near and dear, practically right down the street from the death of George Floyd. Also in, you guessed it, Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's kind of odd, isn't it? You know, the George Floyd thing was the most obvious psyop that I've seen in a long time. I mean, of course, until we saw some of the other ones, like Trump's ear and the Charlie Kirk assassination, quote unquote. And now we got this one. The ops don't get any more obvious, do they? The names, the symbolism, the numbers. What else we got on this? Let me put this on the screen because somebody ain't going to believe me. This is from CBS News. This gives you a little rundown here. She grew up in Colorado Springs. Colorado. Let me think. Colorado. What is significant about that? Well, that's where the second DC is. It's in Colorado, in case you didn't know that. So if anything happens to DC proper on the East Coast, that's where the second command center is. We've got the Denver International Airport with this lovely tapestry, the mural of the New World Order. Mm-hmm. That's very clearly part of the central hub of the military-industrial complex. In case you didn't know. Goes down several floors, way below where the people actually go. And then we've got other connections, don't we? Well, what do we have that happened recently? Oh, I know. Charlie Kirk was assassinated, quote unquote, in where? Colorado. Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. And then what happened in the 90s? Remember that op that was run in the 90s? The first real of the big school shootings. Columbine. Where'd that happen again? I can't remember. Ooh, I know. Colorado. And it didn't register to anybody that the two quote-unquote gunmen, at least the two that were apparently deceased when the shooting stopped, their parents were connected to the military-industrial complex, right? Didn't figure that out, did you? Well, that's funny because it seems like Erica Kirk's parents are both connected to that same sort of military-industrial complex. Where's that fort that Candace and her guest get? Oh, Fort Huachuca. Oh, I wonder where that's located. You think that could also be in? Couldn't be. No, I don't think so. Probably just a coincidence, right? So, near the George Floyd and old Renee Good. Could you get any more obvious with the neurolinguistic programming? I mean, should they have just, maybe they should have had her wearing like a white suit and a white cowboy hat, and then they should have had the ICE agent wearing a black suit and a black cowboy hat. And the ICE agent should have been called like Larry Bad or something. Larry Bad in his black suit with his black hat, and he pulls out his black 6-shooter and guns her down in the OK Corral. Because she's Renee Good. I mean, come on, man. This is out of oh man, what was that? Was it the Scarlet Letter? Am I thinking about Sarah Good, or I'm thinking about the Salem witch trials, I believe. Anyway, back to Renee Good. Grew up in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Well, if you go down just a cursory search, you'll see that is the hub of all kinds of intelligence, military-industrial complex, and military training in Colorado Springs. That's kind of the hub of the wheel there. Colorado Springs. That's an odd place, isn't it? I mean, what are the odds? It's almost like the Sandy Hook thing, where all the people worked in a big military-industrial complex hub. Almost, isn't it? Nah, I better not say anything like that, because we all know that Sandy Hook happened exactly as they told us. They didn't destroy the crime scene. You know, all the people didn't get their homes paid off. None of that happened. There was no connection to the military-industrial complex at all. No, that's all just hearsay and things promulgated by nut jobs like Alex Jones. I mean, nobody believes that mess. Anyway, so Renee Good, we've already rolled out that one. And here's the really ridiculous thing that's always done when this occurs. It's always done. I'm sorry, there's one more thing I got to show you, because I found this kind of hilarious. Renee Nicole Good was a wife, mother, poet, singer, and member of the LGBTQ Elemento Not So Silent P community. What? Said the 12 co-chairs of the Congressional Equality Caucus. Wow. That was pretty weird. So if I get gunned down for doing something dumb, then do I get to be a member of the heterosexual community? That's just very, very, very bizarre. Let me put that on screen. Somebody's not going to believe me. So there you go. Anyway, so there's that. And she was a member, let me see, I hope this is in the next one here, because if not, I'm going to be real hacked off. Because she was a member of something. Let me see. I'm gonna get really disgusted. It was some sort of like ice watch or something. They say they're monitoring ICE arrests. What the heck was it? She was a member of Minnesota Ice Watch activist group, is what it says on there. Ice Watch. That's what I thought. I just was kind of making sure. So anyway, old Renee Nicole Good was a member of Ice Watch. Okay. So she had 3 children, 2 from one marriage and 1 from another previous marriage. Of course, the dads are nowhere to be found. Of course, that now Renee Good gets custody of all the kids and moves them with her lesbian lover to Minneapolis, Minnesota. I mean, that's a logical move. Why would you stay in Colorado when you can uproot everyone and bring them to Minnesota, especially if you're getting paid or something? I mean, that's my thought on it. But let me put this on the screen because people ain't going to believe me. Yeah, and this is her, I guess, last husband saying that he couldn't believe Renee was any sort of Ice Watch group. She was never into any sort of activism of any sort. This was all just some big crazy misunderstanding. She wasn't an activist. That wasn't what she was about. She was a good lady. And what else? This is some more just craziness to me. A good wife, received no response. And this is one of my other ones. She was a devoted Christian who took part in youth mission trips to Northern Ireland when she was younger. She loved to sing and participating in a chorus in high school and studied vocal performance in college. All right, man. Excuse me, I didn't mean to cover up my mouth. I hate to be that guy, so I'll try not to be. But this is the usual suspect rationale for this kind of mess. So no matter what sort of deviant nonsense you've done in the last 10 years, I guess this is true of any, I don't know, the death of anyone, the eulogy, what they do in the write-up is always going to put on like the most polished, the most, look how great they are. They're such a whatever, juxtaposed to who they really were. Obituary, that's the word I was trying to find there, obituary. The obituary is always going to do that polishing a turd kind of deal. So, oh no, she wasn't an activist. Oh no, she wasn't a dissident. Oh no, she wasn't getting any money for this. She was a volunteered Ice Watch member. I know Trump's gone out there and said she was a paid provocateur. I don't know if there's any evidence of that. Some people have said there is. I haven't found any, but then again, I haven't looked at this very much because I really just don't care. I'm done with the next big think. It's all a distraction, folks. But let me just stay on course here. So yeah, that's always the case, but I just seem to always find it the most egregious. Oh, she was a Christian. Oh, she did all this work. How long ago did she do all this work in Northern Ireland? I would say it's been at least 10 years, folks. Come on. And this is another funny that I always find with this, and I'll put these on the screen. It reminds me of Trayvon Martin. Say his name. Because when Trayvon Martin did all his hijinks, this is the kind of pictures that they showed of Trayvon. The young lad. He was just a young, small boy. That wasn't the Trayvon Martin that did the incidents. That wasn't the same guy, folks. So no matter how much they want to polish a turd, talk about stuff that happened 20 years ago and show, like glamour shots to make these people look normal and to humanize them to the public. That's the point of all this. Do you not understand that? That's always the shtick. That's the propaganda. That's why children are always used. That's why images of these people looking young and normal and articulate, that's why they always use these images, people. Okay, so that's Trayvon that they showed the public. And this is Renee Good that they showed the public. It's usually this one. This is the glamour shot that you kept seeing all over social media. Here, pregnant on the beach with, normal looking face and hair and everything else. And then this is the one you're not seeing a heck of a lot of. Yeah, you're not seeing much of this. And where's the one where it's like shaved head vigilante crazy person? Yeah, is that? No, I can't find that one. Anyway, here's the one that you're also seeing. The shaved head version. You're seeing the shaved head version usually, or you're seeing the glamour spot. You're seeing the glamour shot, or you're seeing the shaved head. You're not seeing a heck of a lot of this. So what I'm saying is, pretty much everything I've seen online is the glamour shot. They're not showing you the nut bag in the car. They're not showing the shaved head version. And I know, don't judge a book by its cover. Well, it usually helps to judge a book by its cover. I'm just saying. I mean, people can spin this yarn and pretend we're living in Disney World or pretend we're somehow living in some utopian society, but don't give me the bull job, please. I'm not that stupid, I promise. So that's the bull jive that you're typically getting. The glamour shot. Her pregnant on the beach. I guarantee you that was like 10 years ago. Easy. I mean, we know her last kid was 6 years ago. So it's at least 7 years ago. 7 years old is the image that you're getting fed all over social media and all over social media. Oh, this innocent wife was killed, and they show the glamour shot. They don't show the current person, folks. And that's propaganda. That is normalizing behavior to the public. That is humanizing behavior to the public. That's all that is. I mean, for Pete's sakes, any defense attorney knows to do this. You think propagandists don't know to do this? You think like CNN doesn't know to do this? MSN doesn't know? Come on, people. And magically after this occurs, social media is abuzz with say her name and Renee Good and a mother killed, and all these hashtags become the most popular things on social media, the most trending things, just out of the blue, all over social media. And that's because the proverbial they were looking for the next big thing to change public opinion to whatever else the big thing we're supposed to care about now is. The sad truth is people get killed all the time in this country. People get killed by the police, true, but that never gets the publicity unless it's a protected class or person of color. If it's some crazed immigrant killing a white chick, nobody gives a rat's ass. But if it's a person of color or a protected class, well, my goodness, you are in like Flynn. You better get ready for the parade, get ready for the statues, get ready for the protests, burning down cities and the like, because you are the winner. What else we got? This is just crazy. I got numbers for you on this one. This connects quite a bit to Palantir, because I'm not on the right or the left on this. I think this whole thing is an op, folks, because there's a reason ICE is all over the country, quote unquote, getting the illegals. That's to garner public sway or juice, if you will, to get off street on you. Because they know that normal people don't really want ICE nor military on the streets, but that the people of this country have had it up to the gills with the bull jive going down with illegals everywhere, taking over cities, taking over apartment buildings, getting benefits, getting all the freebies and so forth and so on. So they will go along to get along with the bull jive under the auspice that they're actually going to get something out of it that might be some sort of vague semblance of the America that once was. Not going to happen, by the way. So, how does this connect to Palantir, John? Well, here's the deal, folks. Palantir, remember Peter Thiel? Yeah, the boob that signed J.D. Vance or whatever he was going by at the time. when he got out of Army intelligence. That is the AI. I was about to say something bad. I'm not going to. I'm sorry. That was the AI dream of Barack Hussein Obama like 20 years ago almost. It seems crazy, but almost. Barack Hussein Obama, who took the realms of the regime and gave us the threat fusion centers. Remember those? Oh, I wonder where they are. They're in Colorado. Duh. The threat fusion centers were really kind of like the front runners for what Palantir is weaving into and just cementing in now. So Palantir, thanks to J.D. Vance, thanks to Peter Thiel, and thanks to DJT, is now going to get all this lovely federal funding. And guess what? ICE is going to... It's unbelievable. $20 million to Palantir. Yeah. Okay. So 20 million. I'm sorry, 30. My goodness gracious. I apologize. I was 10 off. 30 million. ICE is getting 30 million to hand over to Palantir so that they can shore up the infrastructure with AI. It'll be everything you hoped and dreamed of if you were hoping for a dystopian nightmare like the Terminator. If you were hoping for a dystopian nightmare like Total Recall, that's what it's going to be, folks. That's why the push for this national ID. That's why the push for the biometrics, which has already been laid out everywhere. That's why every single store now has cameras on you. You can't go to the blipping razor aisle in your local pharmacy without getting scanned, without getting filmed. Where do you think this is all leading back to, folks? Just like the false flag of 9/11, it was never for the terrorists. The terrorists were you. Just like all this bull jive, it was never for the illegal immigrants. The illegals are you. They've already told you this. I can't remember how many people I've rolled out on the show and shown you, Pam Bondi, not the least of which, saying, yo, we're coming after people that criticize Israel. We're coming after people that criticize Trump. We're criticizing or even criticizing MAGA. We're coming after you, folks. Did you miss the memo? Did you think it was someone else? Did you think they weren't talking about you? Bongino steps down as FBI and his first big public statement is we're coming after you people. Do you think he was just bull jiving you? Just kidding? So all this connects, folks. It all connects. That's what this increase in Palantir, that's what the increase in global surveillance, that's what the increase in the global ID, that's what all this is about, folks. There's an old band called Reagan Youth, a bunch of commie fruit bats. But there was a funny song, and in the song, was it A Great Day for a Barbecue, I think was the name of the song. And one of the lyrics is, this time the hot dog is you. That's it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You are the hot dog at this point in the game. You are the proverbial lips and holes that John Candy mentions in The Great Outdoors. That's you. It's not for the illegals. It's not for the leftists. It's not for the commies. It's for you. So I kind of find it hard to cheer for ICE here. Although, I mean, doing legally what should be done, correct. But I really find it hard to cheer for ICE because I can't help but think of Randy Weaver and Ruby Ridge. I can't help but think of the Branch Davidians and the women and children getting burned to death by the tank spraying fire into the buildings. I can't think but help but think rather of the World Trade Center 1 bombing. I can't help but think of Oklahoma City bombing. And the police officer that got assassinated Oh, I'm sorry. He committed suicide and shot himself 2 or 3 times in the back of the head while he was bound. Yeah. I can't help but think of Gary Webb. I can't help but think of a lot of these people, folks, because they were just some of the front runners in the fight. So I really do find it kind of hard to cheer for anything that's been going on, because I know where this whole thing leads. Terrence Yakey, I believe, was the officer there in Oklahoma City bombing. Oh, just like 9/11. Oh, I don't know why. Most of the staff just wasn't there on that day. I don't know why. There was a memo sent out, you see, and a lot of people just didn't get the memo, so they died. Just like the false flag of 9/11. They died too. So when you see deep state ties, when you see alphabet soup agencies print all over this bull job, it's kind of hard to just go, yeah, they did the right thing, whatever. I just can't go along with the get along. I can't. What else we got? We got to talk about one more jive turkey, and that's this guy. YouTuber Nick Shirley. Yeah, this is the guy, allegedly now. This is the bull jive they want you to step away with and go, He's the new Snowden, you see. Yeah, man, Nick Shirley. They're killing you with the names, aren't they? This is like Renee Good. Nick Shirley. He's the guy that I'm assuming they're going to have as the new poster boy, the new Charlie Kirk. It's Nick Shirley, folks. Because if you didn't realize this, a couple weeks before this bull jive with Renee Good getting shot, in between her getting shot and in between us invading Venezuela, we had this huge scandal that only lasted for maybe a week tops. The Minneapolis, Minnesota daycare scam. Yeah, it involved old Balls, the governor, and it involved the whole illegal and Muslim takeover of Minnesota. And this whole thing was uncovered by this guy, YouTuber Nick Shirley. So somebody's going, what's wrong with Nick Shirley? I mean, he sounds like a good guy. So here's the real deal Holyfield on Nick Shirley. He just happened to be at the right place at the right time, am I right? He just happened to also be a YouTuber a couple years back. He wasn't a big name. I guess he was like me. He was probably doing better than me. He probably didn't shadow ban his accounts. But Nick was a fledgling YouTuber. And then all of a sudden, he just said phooey on all this and quit the whole shebang. And then he went on his Mormon mission trip. What? That seems a little odd, doesn't it? He went on his Mormon mission trip. I'm not familiar with Mormonism. Joseph Smith. That's what I was looking for. I was trying to find old Joseph Smith there. Mormonism is not my thing, but I guess it should be. Because, if it's not the Jews, and it's not the Mormons, and it's not the Catholics, and it's not the whatever else groups, just go ahead and pick one. I think we all know which one it actually is. I think all the others are just cover from some of the obvious ones. Anyway, so Nick Shirley went on his mission trip, and he came back, and he went right back into the YouTube thing again, except this time, lo and behold, he was getting millions of followers and likes and money on the side, I guess. I don't know how you do it there, Nick. And lo and behold, he was at the right place at the right time, and he uncovered this unbelievable scandal in Minnesota that nobody could figure out. I can't believe it. So, are you starting to pick up on this yet, folks? Are you starting to understand that just like Dan Bongino, perhaps like Nick Shirley, perhaps like the rest of the controlled bunch that I've gone over, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, the controlled bunch, threw out 9 names, 10 if you include DJT. They were obvious controlled opposition. No, excuse me, controlled, they wouldn't be opposition. They would be controlled support staff, I guess. Because these would be various folks on the right, on the conservative Christian side, that seemed to me like they were getting a whole lot of help from somewhere. I mean, they just didn't come out of the sky out of complete obscurity. And the next thing you know, they're all over the place. They are the best thing since sliced bread. They are all over social media, garnering millions of followers and money and cachet and juice, too. So, I don't know how people didn't realize this. People, even with the cursory understanding of Operation Mockingbird, church committee hearings, all this being uncovered in the 1970s, I think it was 1975, I could be mistaken. All this was uncovered, and people went, you mean this is all propaganda? You mean these talking heads like Brokaw and Cronkite are nothing more than paid government mouthpieces? So that was digestible, at least it should have been. And then you had old Barry Soetoro on his last days in office legalizing propaganda against the American people again. I mean, people were dumb enough, I guess, to not believe it was going on until the church committee hearings. Then they were dumb enough to believe that it somehow ceased during the church committee hearings. And then once again, unbelievable, I know, they were also stupid enough to believe that it wasn't going to still occur. Until Barry Soetoro magically waved his magic pen, I guess, and made it all okay. Not just weird. But then people on the right were so stupid, I guess, that they believed that it was only propaganda on the left. Yeah, it was only like Brokaw and Cronkite and Jerry Rivers, Geraldo Rivera and those types, right? It was never anybody on the right. Right. And then they even had DJT coming out there for 3 regimes, or I guess 2 real ones now, talking about fake news and talking about everybody's fake news. Except the chosen ones, isn't that right? So they're not fake news if they're not in the legacy media. Okay, cool. So they're not CNN or Fox or BSNBC or whatever other legacy media acts. Remember, the legacy media is bad. But alternative media, that's good. Ooh, alt-right. Alternative. All those folks that just sort of sprang up overnight, many of them more successful than others, they're all okay. Because after all, the CIA and the deep state, I mean, sure, they ran Operation Chaos and they ran COINTELPRO and Mary Mac and things like that in the 60s and even in the 70s, but they wouldn't still do that. That's crazy. I mean, they wouldn't have paid provocateurs on the right and paid provocateurs on the left, now would they? What? Remember those joke level Fed guys? I can't remember what they were. They looked as Fed as you can be, the Patriots front or some horse pucky. And then there was that other boob. I think he was actually in Minnesota, or maybe he's in Michigan. I can't recall. Anyway, he was the boob that just came out of nowhere and was pushing all this anti-Muslim jive like 2-3 weeks ago, and then he just disappeared again, you know. Not like that's a paid provocateur or anything. I mean, come on. They would only do that on the left. They wouldn't do that on the right. I mean, good grief. What do you think? Do you think that people on the right would actually take a lot of money to push an agenda like Talmud Tatum? Come on. You mean they'd get paid a lot of money to not push the narrative that everybody seems to obviously know that's, you know, like certain protected class might be actually pulling a lot of strings, and, you know, like all the people that change their names and all the people that have dual citizenship and all the people that are getting money from, I don't know, like one weird spot on the globe. It's really bizarre. I mean, can't think of where it is, you know. I mean, oftentimes I think it's Tanzania, and that's not it. Dubai? No. I mean, it's like Ethiopia or something. I can't recall where that place is, but there seems to be a place. I don't know. Maybe it'll come to me. Maybe you can leave it in the comments. But the problem is that I just don't trust old Nick Shirley any more than I trust old Erica Kirk. Because we've got to actually stop falling for the bull job, folks. Stop going for the next big thing or the next big think. Because what this really is, it's a diversionary tactic. It's weapons of mass distraction. And I entitled this episode The Next Big Think because that's exactly what they want you to do. They want you to divert your attention, your gaze, but most importantly, your thoughts to some other bull jive that's about as relevant as a chupacabra in flipping South Texas, folks. Just about as relevant. Because while all this bull jive is going on, you know what's not going on? Here's a little tip. Nobody's going to get arrested, jailed, tried, nor prosecuted for any of the bull jive that's been going on for at least 100 years. No. You think Elizabeth Warren's going to go to serve any time? No. You think Nancy Pelosi is going to serve any time? I don't think so. I mean, what happened with the husband and the hammer and the gay dude? I mean, what the? Yeah. I mean, I can't remember that there was like 3 different guys that had Chinese spies working for them. You think any of them are going to see any time near a jail, near a prison? I mean, even near like a phone booth? No. Anthony Weiner laptop, that stuff's never getting released. None of these people are going to jail. People still think the Epstein list is going to get revealed and that these people are going to serve time. Never going to happen. Trump's first roll of the dice there, because she'd be in jail. Never going to happen. This is the sort of idiocy that is always thrown out there just to get people's attention on something else. It's a weapon of mass distraction. It is the next big think. How can we convince the general public to think something different? Oh, I know. We'll have a fake assassination. Oh, I know. We'll have some big ideologue on the right get killed in broad daylight and just play who's on first for 6 months. Oh, I know. We will reveal that there's all this illegality going on in Minnesota with our favorite people from Somalia. And then we won't do anything about it. And then we'll have a surprise attack, surprise, surprise, on Venezuela. Oh, and then we're going to attack Mexico, or maybe Cuba too, and we're definitely going after Greenland because why not? Meanwhile, Iran's getting a regime change. Meanwhile, Russia's taking out jets in Ukraine that just happen to be American-made. It's all a next big thing. Can we get them thinking about something else? Can we get them thinking about something else? And the words of the great Gerald Celente ring in my head quite often when I discuss these things. When all else fails, they'll take you to war. I mean, if we don't end up in a war by the end of this year, I don't know what the bleep is going on. Because America has done nothing but try to instigate, promulgate, and foster war with virtually anybody on the globe in the last few months. All this big talk, all this bull job, all this hubris, all this pomp and circumstance. We're the big shining city on the hill. Nobody can touch us. Who bleep is drinking that Kool-Aid? Somebody woke up in this 1955 or something? Because it ain't me. It ain't you. Because as Gerald Celente often says as well, you don't look at Wall Street, you look at Main Street. Our economy is a blipping joke, folks. A joke. Oh, but don't worry. While you were worried about Maduro and daycares in Minnesota and whether or not we're going after Greenland, guess what? The economy is a stinking joke. Anybody look at the price of silver lately? Yeah, it's at $100 now. It's all a big distraction, folks. It's the next big thing. Can we get them thinking about something else other than what matters? Think we can do that? That's what this is really all about. Weapons of mass distraction, the next big thing. So I'm a huge proponent of just cutting off all devices. And I know you're going, but John, you post online quite frequently. I know. But if you haven't noticed, I'm taking a big turn in the show here. I can't take this bull jive anymore. It's just a big nothing burger. Pun intended, Trump. And I just don't want to play the game anymore. I mean, we could keep doing shows we could do shows like this 5 days a week, 7 days a week, 8 days a week, whatever. But at the end of the day, what's the point? It's kind of like you're rehashing the same bull butter. It's like you got a load of cow manure in the yard, and you just keep raking it and just flipping it over, raking it and flipping it over. You don't put any grass down. You don't put an irrigation system in. You just keep churning up the bull. That's exactly what everyone seems to be comfortable with. Rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, talking about what's going on, talking about what's wrong here. Okay, cool. Then what? And the news cycle just keeps on running. It's that old Fly Like an Eagle song. Time keeps on turning into the future. And that's exactly what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. The next big thing is just right around the bend. The next big thing. The next big think. The next big thing to get you thinking about something that don't make a hill of beans. That's really what's up. And I can't say this enough. I've stressed this for so many shows now. I touched on it on the Christmas show, probably 6 months before that, 6 weeks before that, 6 shows before that. Think about yourself. That's really what you can do. Because if we wake up in the middle of the night and Russia's dropping bombs on us, China's dropping bombs on us or whatever, and that's the thing, these European nations that are getting whizzed at us thinking about Greenland, they've already said this in their own words. Americans have not tasted their own blood, so to speak. We've hardly ever had any conflict on this soil. So they're talking about bringing it to aquí. Gentes aquí. So don't be surprised when the bombs start popping off. Don't be surprised, folks. You've seen this jive turkey too. I mean, you've seen all these, ooh, look at these new guns. They got some laser cannon that they've shown you now. They've got all kinds of new bombers that they're just now starting to give you a glimpse of. The old ones you already knew about. But now we got other stuff. All of it looks a lot like the Horton Flying Wing from Nazi era. But, you know, that's just me. So you're going to start gradually seeing a little new tech. And as Heidi Hollis and I were talking about on the last show, all that quote-unquote new tech is really just at least 50 years old tech. Don't think any of this is new. People think that GPS is new from like 20, 30 years ago. It came out in the 90s. It's because the patent ran out on it. The government, the military-industrial complex, had been using this for decades. Patent ran out. Old Bill Clinton just released the patent so they could be put in your car with a GPS. So they could better track you was really what it's all about, dummy. I mean, people actually think that the proverbial they want you to drive safer or have better map access. They want to be able to track you. That's what OnStar was always about. It's what your tracking device is about now. You're probably holding your hand listening to this on it. That's what it's about. And it's not about safety. So do what you can as long as you can. Take care of yourself first and foremost. Take care of your immediate family. Make some plans. Make some preparations. Circle those wagons. Don't really worry about what's going on across the sea because at the end of the day, there ain't jack diddly dog you can do about it. What you can do if those bombs start dropping, you can at least have your little red wagon prepared as much as you can be. I don't know how anybody's prepared in this economy. For God's sakes, was a blipping thing of eggs still costing me like $8? Oh, but John, it's really $3. Okay, all right. If you want to get the satanic cancer GMO extra in the carton, or in their little POW concentration camps, chicken eggs, then go for it. Those are terrible and are terrible for you. So I ain't doing that, folks. You should be getting the free range, organic, non-GMO. Get as clean as you can get, unless you got a chicken in the yard, which you probably should. Anyway, the next big thing, folks, that's what it's all about. Stop doing the pong. Stop doing the next big thing. Focus on you and yours. A lot of changes you might have to be making out there, folks. Get yourself physically strong and morally straight, as the great youth of today, or Ray of today would say. Physically strong, morally straight. You're not going to do yourselves any favors or do anything that you think you're going to do if you're like 80 pounds overweight and are diabetic and can't get through the day without your sugar fix, your nick fix, your drug fix, or your booze fix. It's all the same, folks. You might have to clean up a little bit, huh? I know there's perish the thought of actually not being a big, fat, drunk, druggy freaking piece of trash. I know. Hard for people to comprehend, isn't it? Hard to comprehend. I hear that eating all this GMO is actually bad for you. Like all the seed oils. You mean they're bad for you? I thought it was vitamin C in them. Come on, folks. Get yourself in order. Get your house in order. You might not realize it, but you may indeed have to do a little something different here pretty soon. All right, enough of me gabbing. You can't do everything, but you can do something. Get out there, do your part, make a difference, and I'll be seeing you sooner than later in the Anomic Age.
Thank you for listening to The Anomic Age, a John Age project. For past shows, further info, and to comment, go to anomicage.com. That's ANOMICAGE.com. Till next time, thank you for listening to The Anomic Age.